Man, it is going to be ugly. They're about to find out what happens to ratings when they lose the golden ticket.
The WNBA was rocked by the news of Caitlin Clark's injury. Fans, especially those who paid a lot of money and now can't watch her play, are obviously upset. But the old guard is having their worst nightmare because even a few weeks without Caitlin will reveal everything they've been trying to hide. In fact, it already has. Now, a new report shows how important she is to the league's success. Wait until you see the numbers. We're about to witness the biggest serving of humble pie in sports history. As for Caitlin, there are not one but two positive aspects of her injury that will position her for even greater success when she returns. Let's get started, but first like this video to wish Caitlin a speedy recovery and subscribe for more fever updates.
Oh wow, this is not good. This is not good at all.
So first let's quickly address the injury itself. It's a left quad strain that'll reportedly sideline her for at least 2 weeks. Part of the reason her injury was so shocking is because Caitlin, despite all the on-court abuse she takes, has been remarkably durable. Up until her injury, she had played in 185 consecutive regular season and playoff games, 139 with the Hawkeyes and 46 with the Fever, so this is new territory. Sure, injuries happen in sports, but when the face of the league is missing significant time for the first time ever, fans are going to be concerned. The big question right now is how serious is this? The 2+ week timeline suggests that it's a grade 1 strain, which would be the best case scenario for a quick and full recovery, but either way she's likely going to miss at least 4 games, 2 against the Mystics, 1 against the Sun, and 1 against the Sky. As for the Sky game, it's going to be very interesting to see how many people show up at the 20,000-seat United Center. Now that Caitlin won't be playing, we're already seeing the fallout, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Now, of course, Caitlin's health is number one, but if you're a Fever fan, you probably want to know how this will impact the team. Well, here's your dose of optimism.
I do see these games against the Sun and against the Mystics and against the Sky as winnable games.
Indiana can still win these next 4 games. This stretch most likely won't ruin the Fever's season. In fact, it appears that they are making a well-thought-out choice by resting Caitlin early in the season before the schedule really picks up. Rather than pushing through and making things worse during a relatively low-stakes stretch, they chose to protect her now while the risk is manageable. They also did the same thing with Sophie Cunningham.
Put me sit on the sideline and talk. That's about all. I'm ready to play. She's out over there and just, I'm going crazy. Yes, she's going crazy. She makes, every 24 hours, she seems to make great progress. So we'll just, it's a long season. So we want to make sure that we're making the best long-term decision.
Even though Sophie Cunningham was dancing in the background and appeared to be feeling well, the Fever kept her out. Given that the season is still early and the Fever prioritize long-term health over short-term results, I believe they rest her for more than 4 games. She will likely be out for at least 3 weeks. This is their superstar, and they have a veteran supporting cast this year who can step up. The wise move is to ensure she is fully recovered, but it's still a difficult pill to swallow.
Her bet for her to win MVP died. Yeah, being out. The mad thing is being out for 2 weeks basically means you can't win MVP in the WNBA. Like that is one of the shocking ones.
Although it is disappointing to fans, Caitlin has stated repeatedly that she only cares about winning. So even though she will feel comfortable making the sacrifice to play at her best when it counts, and from a long-term perspective, this doesn't seem to be a serious long-term injury. Many had predicted that Caitlin would be among the favorites to win MVP this season, but missing 4 to 6 games will seriously hurt her chances.
This is nowhere near the level of an ACL injury, so she can come back and still be like the explosive playmaker, the explosive three-point shooter, the explosive player that she is.
Although we're being told that this isn't the same injury that hindered her during training camp, it's possible that Caitlin, being a competitor, was playing through her quad pain until it finally reached a point where she needed to take time off. If she was performing well on a bummed leg, just picture her at full health. This is the first bright spot. She's probably going to recover better, by which I mean that she's already shooting threes in practice. According to what we're witnessing, Caitlin's injury is merely a speed bump. In order to find the bright side, we must consider the wider ramifications of her injury and the reasons why the WNBA is in a panic.
Just going to say I feel terrible for those fans that spent so much money, either home or away, to go see Caitlin Clark, because for those fans, this freaking sucks.
For the first time, the WNBA will experience life without Caitlin Clark, and it won't be pleasant. To begin, she will most likely miss the game against the Sky on June 7th, which was moved from Windrust Arena to the United Center, which is literally twice as large, to accommodate the demand for fever games. However, let's be honest, this move wasn't about Indiana. Rather, it was about Caitlyn.
I wonder how many fans are not going to show up. I reckon maybe 4,000 or 5,000 will show up. I reckon it'll be 2/3 full.
Fans are already selling their tickets within hours of the announcement that Caitlyn Clark would no longer be performing. Thus, the major question is whether or not they will turn up.
And I genuinely think we could be looking at not half full. It's not going to be half full. We could be looking at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 spare seats. I wonder what price tickets are now.
Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42%. An average ticket price of $137, all the way down to $80. When it comes to the Chicago Sky game, that is the marquee matchup in the WNBA, and those tickets are crashing just as well. From $86 48 hours ago to $25.
However, TV viewership is what everyone will be keeping a careful eye on. 2.7 million people watched the inaugural Fever Sky game, which is a huge amount for the WNBA Fever. Without Caitlyn, the league's most watched games could drastically decline, and Caitlyn Clark supporters are already making their predictions. Sky matchups have continuously been among the most watched games in the league.
Viewership down by 85%. See you guys in 2 weeks. Well, the WNBA viewership will be down for 2 weeks. Man, it is going to be ugly.
Fans will vote with their money, their eyes, and their remote controls. And if you don't think that, just take a look at what was announced just before the injury news broke. It's not unusual for WNBA games without Caitlyn to draw 1/3 of the viewership, let alone the league, for some of whose leadership and veteran players have acted pretty arrogantly like they're the reason for all the growth.
Caitlyn Clark's impact on the WNBA we knew was going to be big. We now have an idea of how big.
The same analyst who claimed that Caitlyn Clark accounted for 26.5% of the WNBA's overall revenue in 2024 has just published a new report on her impact in 2025, and the figures are absolutely astounding. They not only demonstrate Clark's significance to the league, but they also blow it wide open, revealing that we are discussing a single player whose presence is literally changing the WNBA's entire business model. According to Ryan Brewer, a valuation specialist who has been closely monitoring the WNBA's expansion, Caitlyn Clark might be worth more than $1 billion to the league this season, and that's probably a reasonable estimate.
If things just go as they were, I'm looking at $875 million, Brewer said to NBC News about Clark's potential monetary value for this season, for the 2025 season. Quote, and I could easily see that eclipsing $1 billion.
Let that sink in. One player may have an economic impact of over $1 billion. The analysis considers all relevant factors, including social media participation, ticket sales, retail sales, television viewership, and sponsorships, and it all comes to one indisputable conclusion. The WNBA's primary financial force is Caitlyn Clark, not any one of the other drivers.
While Clark's popularity has aided the entire league, she's still one of one. As Media Sports Watch noted, 24 WNBA broadcasts garnered 1 million TV viewers. 21 of them included Caitlyn Clark.
The WNBA is currently experiencing instability for a very straightforward reason. They are going to get a taste of what life would be like without Caitlyn Clark, the crossover star the league has been pursuing for decades. She is the one who brings in the casuals, and the analysis now confirms this.
She particularly is the one who's driving a new kind of demographic that is reaching new kinds of people from the traditional WNBA fan base, that is causing the growth rate and also accelerating interest in corporate sponsorships.
This is similar to what happened with Tiger Woods in the 1990s when he first appeared on the scene. He brought a level of athleticism, charisma, and dominance that the sport had never seen before. His historic victory at the 1997 Masters, where he became the first black golfer to win the tournament and did so by a record-breaking margin, attracted enormous international attention and marked the beginning of a new era for golf television ratings, which frequently doubled whenever Tiger was in contention. Tiger wasn't just a star. He was the reason casual viewers tuned in. He transformed golf from a specialized country club sport to a global spectator event, and the money followed. In a matter of years, The prize money on the tour tripled as sponsors and advertisers flocked to take advantage of Tiger's effect. This wasn't because golfers got better. Rather, it was because Tiger made golf important, and Caitlin Clark is now doing just that for the WNBA. Just take a look at the revenue impact from her exhibition match against Brazil.
The average reported ticket price was $650. Now, if you do the math here and you do 15,000 people times $650, that is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason.
And that's only one game. Now, actual stories regarding her impact on the Fever organization in just one season are beginning to surface, and it's completely crazy.
All of this is good news for the Fever, which Sportico reported last year was worth $90 million. Brewer told the Star he believes the franchise is now worth $340 million.
When you add it all up, you can see why the WNBA is in panic mode, because they're going to get a little painful taste of what life looks like without Caitlin Clark. She quadrupled the entire value of a professional sports franchise in less than a year, and honestly, you have to wonder why the Fever hasn't made her a part owner yet. It's a much-needed reality check, you know.
NBA players weirdly have been fighting growth. Stop fighting the truth. Get out of your own way. It is a bad look. She is a fascinating player, and it must be exhausting hating new cool things.
There was a glimmer of hope when some of the greatest names in the game began to speak out in favor of Caitlin Clark, acknowledging her significance not only to the Fever but to the entire league. Despite the league's continued resistance, despite the overwhelming positive impact she has had on the WNBA and on each player's earning potential and visibility.
Have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games?
One word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Amazing.
Yes.
A beast. She is the truth. She's the truth, and she was a...
And that brings us back to where we are now. We know exactly how much Caitlin Clark is worth, and now that she is gone, we're going to see how real her impact is. Perhaps, just perhaps, it will be enough to make the WNBA leadership, the referees, and even some of the players wake up, because, without her, this league drops back out of the mainstream, the buzz goes away, the money slows down, the momentum stalls. This might be the wake-up call they didn't want, but it's imperative. And the ultimate silver lining for Caitlin Clark is that she is about to become more relevant, powerful, and hopefully safer. You are exactly what you are for watching the entire thing, so if you're still here, leave a goat in the comments. I'll see you next time.